The Truth About Greyhound Adoption, 10 Things They Don't Tell You. It's not that these things are deep dark secrets, it's just the tendency of experts to forget what it's like to be the beginner. Hi, Gail here, and I can't count how many times in my early days as a greyhound owner that I thought, why didn't the adoption people tell me this when they gave me the dog? How many things did they not tell me? Well, stick around because I can think of at least 10. It's okay, you're not alone in the world. Greyhound Homecare is here to help you through the tough times for better living with your pet greyhound. Help me keep you informed by subscribing to the channel and tapping the bell to turn on your notifications. So here are the 10 things they don't tell you when you're adopting a greyhound. Now, these aren't true in 100% of the cases, but they're true often enough for you to want to prepare yourself. Number 1. You're on your own with a vet. You know that wonderful vet who volunteered his time and skills to get your greyhound ready for adoption? Well, he may be a vet, but he's not your vet. Most of the time, you'll have to get your new greyhound a permanent vet near your home. The good news is you won't need to rush your greyhound right to the vet the second you get him. Your new pal usually comes to you following a full medical workup from a vet who really knows his greyhounds. The exception to this might be a greyhound who isn't adopted out right away, so be sure to ask for as much medical history as they can give you on your dog. You may also find it helpful to carefully check your greyhound's racing record. Racing officials are very good about recording every detail about every dog in every race. If your greyhound fell or was bumped during a race, he may someday need extra care for aches and pains in his old age. Either way, you should start shopping around for a vet as soon as your adoption application has been approved. Number 2, you don't need a fenced yard. It certainly helps, but it's not a deal breaker as long as you don't mind taking several walks a day. This is only true though as long as there are plenty of greyhounds available for adoption. If they become more scarce, we could see the day when preferential treatment is given to those applicants with fenced yards. Number 3, cat tested is not cat proofed. I'm glad adoption groups do cat testing, but please don't let it lull you into a false sense of security. Although many greyhounds live harmoniously with cats, one can never fully erase generations of instinct to chase small furry things. Even if your greyhound has passed his cat test on any given day, he may react differently with a different cat or even the same cat on a different day. Many owners, in fact, take the extra precaution of keeping their cats inside whenever their greyhounds are outside. There's something about that fresh open air that makes a greyhound feel keen. Number 4, he may have an upset stomach. There can be several reasons for this. It can be simple stress from the newness, car sickness from the long ride home, or the change in his diet. If he doesn't eat though, don't embark right away on a quest to find him the perfect food. Give him some time to adjust. It may simply be that he's not feeling well. Number 5, the worms might return. Greyhounds are often put on a deworming medication just before they come home. You may be instructed to give some of it to them right away, and then the rest after a couple of weeks, so put that date on your calendar, or better yet, place it on your phone's calendar app and set a couple of notifications for it. Even if you give the meds as directed, your dog may break out in a case of worms in the weeks or months that follow. Sometimes they can be awfully tough to get rid of. It's not anything you did wrong. So just be sure you watch for the symptoms. Sudden stomach upset, diarrhea, vomiting, any of these in any combination, especially if they seem to come and go every few weeks. The toys may be a flop. This often gets better with time, but not always. Greyhounds do love treats and a good nap, though. If they do play with a toy, they're generally done in a few minutes. Because of their strong jaws, chew toys are often more of a hazard than a pleasure. Favorite greyhound toys are stuffed squeaky animals, treat dispensing toys, and a piece of an antler to chew on. Yes, I said antler. Lily has a Benebone that she chews occasionally. Overall, though, if your idea of quality time with your dog is endless sessions with a frisbee or a tennis ball, you may want to reframe your thinking. Your greyhound's most fascinating possession is simply you. He's never had his own private person before, so sit with him, encourage him to put his head in your lap, and just enjoy some quiet time together. 7. Naughty behavior may start later. For the first few weeks or months that your greyhound is home, you may marvel at his perfect behavior. And then all of a sudden he'll start acting out by chewing things, ignoring you when you call him for his walk, spitting food on the floor. Oh, goodness, I'm having flashbacks to my son's early life. But there's a good reason for that. In both cases, the creature has settled in and is now testing you. Remember to continue to establish yourself with your dog as the leader. Successful leaders don't rule through fear and yelling, they rule through inspiring cooperation. For example, let's say you don't want your greyhound up on the couch, but he keeps jumping up there. Continually ordering him off is only going to weaken your authority because every time he gets back on, he's gotten one up on you. A better strategy for this mutinous behavior is to make the couch less interesting and his own bed more interesting. Make sure his bed is supporting his heavy frame and add more support as needed. Then, put something on your couch when you're not using it, like a couple of kitchen stools or guitar cases. This isn't as much of a pain as it sounds, and it's not forever. It's only until your greyhound has moved on from that behavior. Number 8. They growl. This can be startling for those of us who assume that a growling dog is an aggressive dog. Greyhounds are not aggressive dogs. They growl for a lot of reasons and often will growl where another dog would simply bark. Probably just less effort. Yes, they are that lazy. It's good to know the different greyhound growls and their real meanings. Most greyhounds love a good ear rub and will growl when you rub their ears. Some let out menacing growls in their sleep. They can also have sleep aggression or sleep startle, which is when they bark or growl at you because you startled them partly out of their sleep. In these cases, please know that the dog typically does not realize that it's you or is even aware of his surroundings. If you've ever awakened unsure of where you are or what day it is at first, you'll understand what I mean. Next, since your greyhound's nerves are close to the surface and his long limbs seem to be everywhere at once, it's very easy to accidentally lean or press on him in a way that he finds physically painful, and he may alert you with a snarl. It can take a while for your greyhound to adjust to a lot of physical affection too, so he may growl at you while you're hugging him or sitting with a companionable arm around him. Please don't be put off by this. Lily was like this for a long time. She loved being petted, but she'd hit a point where she had enough. She's pretty darn cuddly now, though, although I still get the occasional growl. My daughter gets growled at the most, because she simply cannot restrain herself from smothering Lily with affection. Number 9. They are stubborn. A great way to get frustrated is to get locked into a battle of wills with your greyhound. They're part jackass, I swear. With Lily, it happens when she's found an incredibly comfy spot and doesn't want to get up for her walk. If she doesn't come when I call her, I just shift gears and start preparing her next meal. The sound of the bowl, the spoon, and the container is usually enough to get her to come into the kitchen and investigate. By that point, she's fully awake and much easier to get out the door. And number 10, they sleep 22 hours a day. One day, I had Shannon to the vet's office for a checkup, and the vet actually asked me the ludicrous question, "Has he been lethargic?" To which I responded, "How could I tell?" Yes, everything you've heard about greyhounds being lazy is 100% true. I recall seeing a sidebar in National Geographic once called The World's Laziest Animals. Not only was the greyhound not included, but the fact is he beat out every animal on that chart, including Nat Geo's #1 pick, the sloth, who they claim sleeps 20 hours a day. Since then, though, I've learned that koalas sometimes sleep 22 hours a day, so I guess the greyhound has some viable competition after all. What do you wish somebody had told you before adopting your greyhound, whippet, or Italian greyhound? Please share your story in the comments section below and help others who are just beginning their greyhound adoption journey. I would love to get a ton of stories so I could share them with you in a video. You can read about things they don't tell you before adopting a greyhound over at my website, greyhoundhomecare.com, where you'll find plenty of fun and informative articles on better living with your pet greyhound, whippet, or other sighthound, large or small. Thanks for watching. See you next time on the Greyhound Home Care channel.